Hey there, everybody. Robert Taylor with Wonderscape Creations. In this episode, we're going to go over the data assets. So, if we come here to Wonderscape Creations and then PCG and data assets, landscape, you'll have the data assets that are specifically for the landscape generation. So, obviously, if we open this up, this is a primary data asset. Um, so, this is a place where you can add stuff if you want. Quick note, if you choose to add something to this data asset, um, this primary data asset, or to the enumerations or structures for it, um, well, not the enumerations, so just the data asset and the structures, then you would need to alter PCG to utilize that info. Enumerations is simply just adding another display name, which is already harnessed, and you can add more, remove some if you want, and no matter what, it's always going to work with PCG. So, anyways, here in the data asset, in order to make a new one, you can either duplicate, or if you come down here to miscellaneous and then data assets, and we type in stamp, you'll have stamp data asset. You can just select it. I'm going to name this delete. Come right here, list of stamps, and you'll see right here we have an ID. This ID is important, and it has to match the stamp type of every stamp that is in this index. What I mean by that is if I have a second one and I choose to make this one, craters, then this stamp, right? Not the stamp, this stamp type needs to also say crater. That's important for the PCG graph to know which ones to spawn. Otherwise, you're just going to have a mess. Now, when it comes to the blueprints, you can only select the stamps. As you can see, there are a crap ton. You can select them through this if you want. Like I said, this is crater, so I'm just going to type in crater. The base stuff, leave alone. They're empty. It'll just be flat plain. You have 2K, 4K, and 8K versions of each of the types of craters. I'm just going to stick with 2K for now. And then I'm going to hit the plus sign again. Make sure that I change this to crater. Crater. Then I'm going to go with crater number 4, make it 2K again as well. I'll keep the weight at 1 for now. We'll keep the extents at 10,000 for now. And also for now, I'm just going to delete this first index that was mountains so that we can take a quick look at this. I go ahead and I put that in here. As you can see, if I hit G, we have 3 craters here. And if we look here in the outliner, we have 2 that are 4 and 1 that is 1. And that's simply because we are controlling the extent size. So if I go ahead and let's make this 8,000 instead of 10,000, we now have more craters. And it looks quite a bit more ridiculous and dangerous. So I'm going to put this back to 10,000. However, I'm also going to reduce the minimum size to 0.5 and the max size to 0.8. Now, as you can see, we have several again. If we want to make sure that it's still minimized, we can then just change this to 15,000. And now we're up to 4. So it's important to note that. Now, as you can see here, they are currently all 4, and there's no 1s, and that's because there's a self-pruning. So if there's any that are too close, it automatically prunes them. However, if we want to change this, we can come in here in stamps. So as we saw, 4 had more of them. If we change the weight here to 2, you'll see now that we have 3 of them that are crater 1 and 2 that are crater 4. And that just gives us a great deal more of control. So yeah, that's how the data asset works. And if I go ahead and just real quick decide to have a single mountain type here, whoops, That's right, it already comes with one. Delete, make sure that it's mountain and mountain. And I'm going to choose mountain, choose a random one like that right there. And as you can see at the moment, nothing's showing up. And that is simply because in the graph, the extents here are too big. So it's simply stuff that you have to mess around with. So again, if we come over here, and this is why it usually should be big stuff to small stuff. If we go ahead and change this one to like that, there we go. We now have the mountain populating and the craters populating. And because the craters are smaller and have even though they have a bigger extent, they are still spawning. So that is how this tool works. It utilizes the power of this data asset. You're going to want to make sure that you are utilizing this to create your landscapes. So in the next one, next episode, we'll briefly go over detaching these from the generator so that we can move them and make quick tweak alterations, and then exporting it to import it into a new level and landscape, having your own setup. See you in the next episode.